Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially.
Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have two special guests. We have Vanessa, who is she's passionate about helping others use travel as a tool to heal, dream, grow, and evolve. And during her time at UC Berkeley, Vanessa was diagnosed with stage 2 tongue cancer. Prior to her battle, she intended to climb the corporate ladder, but now there was an undeniable desire to have real, authentic experiences. So having regained her speech and overcome cancer, she felt she owed it to herself to lead a life that she was excited to wake up to each morning. So Vanessa developed a diverse career in the travel industry. And from overland adventure, guiding to helping Win Travel Leisure #1 tour provider in the world in 2019 for a year until COVID hit, Vanessa led a group of 20 plus digital nomads around the world. Oh, that sounds incredible. And then Mary's life changed one day when on a business trip, she picked up a magazine on the flight and read about the digital nomad life and was immediately intrigued. After working for 40 plus years, raising twins, starting 3 businesses, and being a community volunteer, as well as an awesome wife and friend, she felt the need to truly break from that rat race. And as a native of Houston, Texas, she had been a journalist, a registered nurse, and a leader in the fertility field, and having started 3 fertility-related businesses. Wow, you've done so much. So all this, the article she read on this flight was the catalyst for her when she ended up spending 6 weeks in Montevideo, Uruguay. Am I saying that right, Mary?
Montevideo.
Wow, such a beautiful name when pronounced properly. Well, that changed her life and her perspective, her ambition, and she met Vanessa on another digital nomad trip in Belgrade, Serbia in 2019. The seeds of BeyondTheNest were born. All right, welcome, Mary and Vanessa, to the show.
Thank you.
And one of the things I like to start this show off with is this show actually started, it was based on my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And this last 12 months, we have had every situation imaginable and unimaginable hit us globally. So I'd love to maybe start off with maybe if you have a time in your business or personal life where you hit a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Okay, Vanessa, why don't you want me to go? I'll go first. Okay, so I had to think about that kind of quickly and think what was the most recent one, because when you've had a long business life, you've had many ups and downs. But on this trip to Montevideo, I was actually sitting in a departure lounge at LAX, and I was a little bit freaked out. I was like, okay, who leaves their husband, their family, their dog, their cat, whatever, and goes to Uruguay for 6 weeks, not knowing anyone and knowing that I was going to be older than everyone. And I was kind of having a panic attack, and I was like flipping through my phone, and all of a sudden my business partner in one of my 3 businesses said, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. I quit. What? I'm about to get on a plane to Montevideo. And so after having a quick 3 glasses of Merlot, I got on the plane and never looked back. And it was difficult, but I met these amazing young people that helped me kind of like navigate things, as simple as like, I didn't know how to get my former partner off the Facebook, like our company Facebook. I didn't know how to do that. So they jumped in and taught me a new skill. So I I kind of hit the bottom there at the LAX airport. And by the time I came back from Line of the Day, I was 6 weeks later, things were great.
Wow. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And then I would say my rock bottom moment and then my rebound would be like a lot more recent. I would say probably something I share with millions of other people is that like a low point in my life, maybe the low point happened in 2020. I had already been working in the travel industry and I was certain that this was like 100% what I was going after. And I was on my way. Mary and I had started developing our concept for the business and starting to zone in on who we wanted to help. And then travel shut down, and it shut down with no end date. It shut down in every single way. Not a single company was hiring. I found out that a company I'd been working for had gone under 2 months prior, and I was still working for them. And so, yeah, so it just, it took me a moment because I always use travel as a way to like escape and as a way to think and clear myself. I wasn't able to go anywhere, and I wasn't able to build a travel company during that time, really. And so I would say that what I did was I went real deep inside myself and found some calm, some stillness, and then just kept building. And now here we are today.
Wow. That's incredible. I know for myself, I confess, I traveled for 7 years straight. I rented my home out. My two youngest, I adopted 3 children. I have 3 of my own, so 6 kids. The 2 youngest traveled with me for 2.5 years and did independent study and studied the world, right? And we had a blast. And so when this pandemic, universal pause hit, all I could think of was how grateful I was that when I had the opportunity, I took that chance and I just went. And it was the best time of my life. And I do miss travel. I now things are opening a little bit, so I've started already. And so it has been a real important part of my life and meeting people. I literally have friends in just about every part of the globe to this day. And that's part of the travel experience, that it really blessed my children, myself. And yes, so I'd love to hear more about your program and your company, what you're creating now.
So you're totally right that travel is opening back up, but I would wager to say that it's happening a little bit more quickly than most people are aware of. We see some really exciting trends, both in terms of like speed of vaccination, attitude of travelers moving forward. Also, behind the scenes, companies really gearing up for a heavy 2021 travel season. And what we wanted to do was be in front of that. Obviously, like the pandemic was never really a part of our business plan, but we've since pivoted into it and found a way that we can help people through past the last year, in addition to serving like the greater purpose that we always had in mind. So we've always known that we wanted to help people that were interested in location independence or being a digital nomad or taking a break away from life and having a pause and finding a reboot like Mary did. And so that was always our initial intention, because we realized that the digital nomad space, meaning people that travel continuously without a home base, it was really geared at people more my age, 27, 28. And it was not very accommodating to people that were newer to remote working or people that were Mary's age and had twice as much energy as the rest of us. And we wanted to really fill in that gap in a beautiful way by creating an inclusive community, a small knit group of people that would take a luxury trip somewhere in the world with a theme in mind, a growth theme. And then also with the ability to really get intimate, get to know each other, kind of discuss what happened in the past year, if that's something that you need to do. We're big into motivation recalibration after last year. So what we're building are those luxury retreats. We already have a few up and ready. We're selling San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. We have a beautiful 2-acre property, and we're doing 2 back-to-back 1-week retreats. And then we're going to do a domestic retreat, and then we're in the Caribbean, and then we're in Asia, and then 22 happens, and we're blown up.
That sounds incredible. Wow. Yes. And
one of the big motivations for me with Vanessa was I was in Uruguay, and and I'm sure Sheila, you can get this, when you've built this career and you've done these things and you've raised your family and one day you wake up and you can be 40, you can be 50, you can be 60, and you go, wait, what am I doing? And I was walking across this, I was waiting at a stoplight in Montevideo, and all of a sudden it was like this little voice said, you have enough, you have enough. And it didn't mean that I was going to go learn to play golf and be retired. It just meant that I no longer had to strive for all the letters after your name or all the titles or all the whatever. And I wanted to teach other people how to get there. And so it's taken me like 2 years to get there. And that's one of the empty nester part is either you're empty because your kids have gone or you're leaving your nest now that we've all been sequestered. So that's where the two sides came from.
very good. I agree. I am going to recalibrate our internet real quick. So we have one break that will come right back. Okay, now we're on the right line. Okay, so we'll fix that. So anyway, so I would love to hear how that, now you have family that stayed, or did they travel with you? How did you manage that with traveling full time?
To me, Vanessa.
I was the one that was traveling full time. And I did it at a juncture in my life where I didn't necessarily have all that holding me down. I overcame cancer at 21, just as I was graduating. And I was working at Yelp, and I was just like intending to do what everyone else was doing, which is just work and do tech in this app or that app in San Francisco. And I remember reading an Instagram ad that had to do with digital nomadism. And I said, that's a lifestyle, and you can make a business out of interacting with people at their best moments during travel. When I realized that was a possibility, I went headfirst into it. So when you read that I was an overland adventure guide, I have a commercial driver's license for when I used to drive buses and tours across America. So as it pertains to my long-term travel, my boyfriend actually did travel with me. So we got rid of our home base, and we did the world together, and it was an amazing adventure. But I know that not everyone has that kind of flexibility, and even moving forward in my life, I don't have that kind of flexibility. Where we do have a home base. I'm sitting in my home. It's very cool. But as such, I'm building my career so that I have really good communication with my partner. I'm able to take time, and I'm able to take personal space, and I'm able to say, this is a journey I want to take solo because I'm going to grow, and I need to find myself. I need to be unbridled by the house and the boyfriend and the dogs and the kids and even the job, and just be me in a brand new place. So that's how I did it. And then I guess that's kind of how I'm planning to do it.
But see, on the other hand, I'm at the other spectrum. I waved bye to the husband. The kids were in college. He took care of the pets. I still worked because I worked in a co-working space. But when you've been married for 26 years and you have this, very traditional life per se, as far as you have a business and everything, to say bye, my friends thought I'd lost my mind. What's your husband going to say? Well, we're beyond that. We're beyond asking your husband. My husband was thrilled. He loved it. It was a great thing for us. It was great for me because after all these years of actually being in a place by myself for 6 weeks, it was pretty glorious, to be honest. So, there was no cat crawling in the bed. It was just me. So it was perfect.
And we do find that like a lot of the digital nomad space are solo travelers, but we're not necessarily looking for people that are just going to do, I'm traveling from here on out. This is week 1 out of 1 million. We're doing this for people who are maybe toying with the idea. We're doing this for people who want to bring their spouse even. So we definitely are looking forward to having couples who are interested in exploring the goals together, or even separately. So we're doing it for people that don't have all of their life put together in a backpack. I can just pack it on and leave. It's maybe a step before that, or it's the primer. And it's kind of the calibration to help you figure out if that's the lifestyle you want to go, where are you headed and why are you going and what are you going to do there and how are you going to bring wellness with you and community and growth. So that's what we're focusing on answering for people.
Or you're just 1 week because you want to recalibrate. We're going to be offering a mentoring program the month before and then for a month after. afterwards as part of your whole experience. And so maybe you want to be somebody like me who said, okay, well, now I'm ready to move into the next specter of my life. I'm like fertility. I'm way beyond that. Next step is grandma. And so not anytime soon. And then now I want to do this travel. So that's kind of where it is. So you could be a digital nomad, or you may just want to be recalibrating your life or thinking about what your next step is.
Wow. I love that. I know for myself, I knew I had that opening in my life where I was kind of done. I had enough where I had kind of properties, cash flowing, and investments and businesses that kind of ran themselves at a certain point, and I was able to have fun. And I wanted my children, my youngest two at least, to be able to travel, and the others, as they were growing up, they were able to take time off and join us on some of those trips. And I thought, what a gift. This was a gift of time for my family, for that new relationship, Mary, you understand, of like having your children, now they're adults.
Mm-hmm.
You have a completely different relationship with your adult children. And there's a transition that happens from now you're the parent, now you're friends. And so it was really a beautiful time. And then Vanessa, like you had an illness when you were really young. And for me, one of my children, my youngest, actually passed away last year. That was really hard on us, but he was diagnosed with a heart condition in 5th grade. He lived to be 22. And and that was really hard. But we look back and we're like, we traveled. He lived. He saw the world. He did all these things. He had a great life. And what was school going to really do a lot for him? He was a top student, but that travel, that family time, priceless.
That's so special.
Yeah. So for
That's
us,
so special.
Yeah. So that was, for us, that was a big thing. And we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know what we have or how long we have here or whatever. So we get to have these gifts of time with our loved ones, whether you're traveling alone to get to know yourself, because my gosh, you've been in a relationship forever and you finally want some time to get to know you again, or you want to bring your adult children maybe for part of your travels and get to know them on a different level. Is just incredible.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, I think that I did have my mom in mind ever since the germination of this idea began. I remember telling her about it and her just being over the moon that she would even be able to do something like that once I built it. So she had recently become work from home, and she was bored. She was lonely. She was like kicking around in her house all day, didn't have much to do. And one of the things that I want for all of those people that have become work from home, either by choice or not by choice, is I want them to know how to make the most of this lifestyle, because the remote revolution, if you will, has been accelerated beyond anything else by COVID. So if we're not happy working in our home offices or in half of our bedrooms, what can we do to make sure that we're going to be successful at this next chapter? How can we ease into this new reality, make the most of it, and find what we need? So if we're not happy at home, working from home, why? What are we missing? Are we missing, maybe, is it exercise? Is it family connection? Is it travel to look forward to? And of course, having things to look forward to is a blessing that now we're going to get to have again. It's been hard to get by without knowing when the end is. But yeah, so now we're looking to work with, the millions of people that are at home and just thinking, what now? I don't think I'm going back to the office. What do I do?
Right. Yeah. And the offices are like, we're saving so much money. We don't have the overhead. We don't have to pay the rent. Let them stay home.
It's not coming back.
Well, my other businesses, 14 years ago when I started my other businesses, I had a brick and mortar, 3 offices, reception area, kitchen, the whole 9 yards. I'm now down to a co-working space where I have a private office if I need one. And sometimes 2 weeks go by and I don't go because it's like there's no need to, or I need to escape from my husband working at home, and that's it. So I can see where if you don't need a brick and mortar, what's the point? Although I need people, so I couldn't work from home 5 days a week forever.
Now, this is the truth for me. I just had this discussion with my daughter where I was like, how come now that the world is opening up again and I am working more than ever, why is it that I'm able to clean the house more and I have more things done? Because I'm out and I'm with people. I'm more productive than when we were sitting there on lockdown for like 3 months. Nothing got done.
I mean, there were some days when it was hard to do anything or to find the desire to get up and try to make sense of anything.
I missed that. I'm the only person I know. Everyone else had like their COVID. Oh, I learned to make origami. I worked my buns off during I missed that whole thing. It's like somewhere I missed it because I didn't get to do that recalibration that everybody talks about. I was like working all the time. But I think I was escaping. I was so worried that my business was going to go down the tubes with it and everything, and it didn't. I work in fertility, so that meant that people wanted babies more than ever. I'm at home. I'm realizing I want a family. I don't want to go this road alone, and so there's been just a tsunami of people since COVID wanting a family.
That's so interesting. And what tips do you have, if any, for listeners who are looking to do this lifestyle and maybe add travel to their work from home or remote working life now? What tips?
So my most basic advice would be that absolutely everyone should go somewhere this year. Whether you go with us, whether you go alone, whether you hop on a cruise, if those are even running, go somewhere. Because you are doing yourself a disservice by undercutting what you went through last year and what you sacrificed, the boundaries that you had to relinquish, the extra hours you had to work, the psychological effects. Give this to yourself. Give it to yourself because you were right. We don't know how much time we have. We don't know when things will turn on and off. So opt to do it. Just give yourself the gift of recalibrating, of getting out there, of doing something that really lights your soul on fire that you're going to look forward to and be excited about the next morning. So that would be my number one tip. And then the secondary tip would be when you're looking at your first travels post-COVID, things are going to be a little bit more confusing. The travel space has changed a little bit in terms of bookings, cancellations, flexibility, what you need when you get to the airport, what you're going to need when you get back, being aware of how something might change while you're in the country, being aware of where your layover is and how that might impact something. So I would say definitely go with a trusted source for your first run on post-COVID travel. Definitely go with a group. And have a little bit of a growth goal in mind, like have a motivation or have an intention when you set out that's going to be beneficial and something that you feel like you'll grow into.
Nice.
And I have a little extra on that. She said it so perfectly. But I've always found that travel, especially after the world we've all done this together in the world. Everybody was affected by this. I mean, even Antarctica, the people in Antarctica were affected by COVID. So we have this one universal tie now that we've all kind of survived or made it through COVID. So when you travel, it's not just going and looking at, the forum or the tower. You really need to look at people and go, they went through it and I went through it. And now we're buying vegetables at the roadside stall together. And to me, that's the joy of travel. It's kind of stepping out of your own life and stepping into how other people live, because we're all kind of the same. And now that we've all had COVID, in our lives, we're all really all the same. We've all experienced it.
Nice. I love that. And now I love the remote offices. Mary, how did you find those?
Well, the weird thing was I'd always had brick and mortar because you're taught you need that you have to have an office, or people are going to wonder what's wrong with these people. Don't they have an office? So when I was on my first digital nomad experience, I loved it. I loved the co-working aspect. So it was a big giant, the one in mind there was a big giant room, had big desks with all kinds of plugs. You could plug 15 different things into the desk. They had a few private offices, but there was, you got to talk to people. And if you did something that was computer oriented, then you were just there with your headphones on and there would be somebody across the hall. There was a private place to take phone calls. So I went, you know what? I am paying $2,200 a month and why am I doing this? That was it. And then when I came back, I moved from Phoenix to Houston, and I was kind of like, there's got to be some there. Now they've started opening them up, and they're on every street corner now. But it was a great business model. Yep.
How about for these remote places? How do you deal with internet on the remote?
Yeah, so that's
the best internet. Everybody else has better internet in the United States. True, I think so. I mean, everywhere I've been, it's super fast. Yeah. Well, maybe not you then.
I would say the number one thing is that you don't have to worry about it if you go with us. Like, that's something that we handle and something that we make sure of. A lot of other providers are aware of the fact that people do need to work and travel. But also it's important that you get in touch with the host that you're going to be staying with. So if you're staying in an Airbnb, for instance, you can ask the host to take a picture of the upload and download speeds of the Wi-Fi. So that's something that they can do from their phone to demonstrate the speed of the Wi-Fi. And something that you can ask for maybe a couple times just to make sure it's consistent. But yeah, that's something that I would definitely recommend. And then also being aware of like whether your phone plan will support you down there. So I use T-Mobile, which is absolutely what travelers should be using, because we get international data in 190 some odd countries, as well as texting and then cheap phone calls. So I do make sure, although, you know, my internet might be slower, that I'll have it where I go.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And I had when I was traveling years ago, like I spent like a month in Italy. I was a speaker at a conference, and then I thought, well, okay, we'll just add on a trip to Italy, right? So I remember my phone bill was like $1,000 because I had to keep calling the office. But now I'm on a program where it's $10 a day. Okay, so it's $10 a day. You can call anywhere, and that means I don't have to turn it on or turn it. Just automatic. I cross the border and immediately it's $10 a day. So those are things that have gotten better about international travel. But on the other hand, you're always connected, which is kind of not great either. So
well, there are so many digital tools that either were available prior to the pandemic that just weren't making a huge splash, like Zoom. Like Zoom has been around, but I'm sorry, no one had heard the word until the beginning of 2020.
Video chat.
But there are so many other digital tools now to make sure that you as a business owner can lead an entirely remote team very successfully, whether they're dispersed or remote within the same city, so that you can, manage them, create expectations, and just manage them.
Honestly, the only thing when my two digital nomad trips, it was only the time zone thing. So like when I was in Belgrade, it was like 8 hours difference, so that was a little tough. But when I was in Montevideo, it was 4 hours difference, and it was fabulous because I would get up in the morning, I would do my own thing. I'd go run at the beach, I'd go have coffee, I'd read the paper. I had like this 4 hour window every day. It was just mine. And then I would work until like 7 or 7:30, which is when people go to dinner, 8 o'clock. That's early in South America. So that was like the joy of it. That I always thought, how would it be in Bali? You'd be upside down.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah, you'd be upside down in Bali or Thailand. So you kind of have to deal with that. But that would be okay.
Yes, that's the only time I really got, I guess it was like jet lag, was India, sometimes Dubai a little bit, but India was worse.
Yeah.
That's like 23, 24, some odd crazy hours. And so it's like a whole, it took like 2 or 3 days to really accommodate because you're completely upside down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Australia's a little bit off. So those were like, okay, that's what they're talking about with jet lag. That would get me. London wasn't too bad. Although it's
like 6 to 8 hours, right? Yeah.
No, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't a big deal. So that was like my limit.
I think the longest flight I've ever taken, just like to add, was my repatriation flight from South Africa back to California. When was that? In July. Mm-hmm. So we went from Cape Town to a stop in Joburg, not getting off, a stop in Johannesburg, then a stop in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, then a stop in Dublin, Ireland, Dulles, and then LAX. One plane. All in a day. It was terrible.
Yes, that is something. That is.
But, Mexico is a lot closer. I mean, it was very strategically chosen. So Mexico has been leading much of the world in tourism throughout COVID-19. So they're struggling with the pandemic undoubtedly. And I've spoken with a lot of Mexicans throughout. but their country never really shut down to tourism. And Americans, especially those that live closer to the border, I'm 30 minutes north of the border, escape down to Mexico with regularity. Mm-hmm. So we have been down to San Miguel. We've chosen our location. We've made sure that everything is in a safe space, that it's easily accessible. It's either a single flight. You might have one US layover, but we wanted to make sure that people were aware, that this will be a little bit easier, a lot closer to home. And then we'll start jetting farther and farther away.
Nice. I'm going Saturday to San Miguel, and it's 94 minutes. That's how long the flight is. So
I would love to hear. So let's pretend I'm going to go on the trip to Mexico, which I may. If I'm going, what happens when I arrive? What are you doing activities? Yeah. What does the day or the week look like for your event?
You're good at that.
Yeah, so I've actually just finished putting together a few of these sample days so that we can kind of give them out as collateral. But here's what would happen. So you would have your flight arranged by our travel coordinator. She would handle all of your booking, your reservation, make sure that everything's on time, and make sure that if COVID tests are required, that you get them at the right places at the right time. You'll land in Guanajuato, which is León Airport, and we'll have a private car and driver waiting for you to bring you over to the estate. Our estate is a beautiful 2-acre private property that's completely walled in. It's a 9-bedroom, 13-bathroom estate with horse stables, a helipad, a crystal clear glassed in gym. It's absolutely out of this world.
Pool.
Oh, the pool is just stunning. The cabanas. So anyway, we've chosen a place that, in accordance with the fact that we're coming out of the pandemic, we wanted to give people a little bit more space. So it's fully socially distanced. We have 10 to 12 people roughly on a 2-acre property. So there's plenty of room to spread out. And then what would happen is you'd probably go ahead and get settled in. By this juncture, I'd know a lot about you because you would have told me why you're there, what it is that you want to learn, what's in your heart, what you've been through. You would have gone through the mentorship program along with the other people. So the first thing that would happen is you'd probably recognize someone that you met through mentorship. And then you guys would probably get settled. But yeah, an average day, to give you an idea, is wake up in the morning, there's either Pilates or yoga or meditation or a workout class happening in the gym or in the garden. You can have breakfast from our chef-cooked breakfasts every morning that are available either on the veranda, in the dining room. We have a morning workshop that you can attend that would be something akin to utilizing the digital tools that are available to you to build and grow your remote business, for instance, or reestablishing your boundaries post-COVID. So, a lot of our boundaries dropped, and what are they, and why do we have certain boundaries, and how can we get back there? So something like that would be a morning workshop. And then we would have the opportunity to go off and discuss and hang out. You can either go to a local hot spring with your free time. You can do work that you have to do for back at home. We have an area for working. We have local vineyards and things like that. So with any free time, you can do absolutely anything. You can go for a horseback ride. You can go for an ATV ride. You can go for a helicopter trip. And then what we do, optional. And then what we do is we'll be taking people for amazing experiences like mezcal tastings or private art gallery viewing. So San Miguel is a hub to incredible artists from around the world and expats that are drawn there because of the culture and the history. So we're going to make sure that you're fully engrossed in that. We're going to make sure that you experience the art galleries and the really cool expats that have made this home, and that you have a chance to partake in the culture with cooking classes or really cool, unique, bespoke experiences. In the evenings, we might do another workshop. We might have a chef cook dinner. We might go out to a restaurant together. And then in the evening, sometimes there are really cool experiences that I'm thrilled about, like guided stargazing, evening yoga or evening meditation, and some of the things like that. So yeah, they're full days, but you have the opportunity to take on as much or as little as you want. If your schedule is full of work and you have a couple hours to chill out, you join us for that portion, and the rest, it's on you. It's totally your time to enjoy and do with what you will.
Nice. Wow, I may move there full time.
It has one of the biggest expat communities in South America. It's really, really intriguing. Thousands of people, thousands of Americans are down there.
And Canadians. Yep.
That sounds incredible. I'm like ready to pack my bags, My daughter, if she heard this, she would already be in the car ready to go to the
Well,
airport.
I'm sure she's a listener.
Well, she's probably about your age, Vanessa. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love to hear. And one of the coolest things I think about this entire organization that we've built is that Mary and I are totally cross-generational. We're at least my age difference apart, if that makes sense. Like we're doing a really cool thing because I am getting to work with someone who's been in business for 30 years, who's grown businesses, and also who has that brick and mortar mentality and can kind of bring back some, help me understand the attitude of some other people that are also dealing with businesses that were brick and mortar. Whereas I can kind of speak to a lot of the new changes that are happening and the younger demographic. And, but we've both got the energy to really kick it from 7 a.m. to midnight. So you never know, like on the trip, who'll be doing what. But yeah, it's really, really cool that we have someone that's on the younger side and someone that can be in more of our, and someone that's not.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Yes. I guess I was before my time for sure, because I did my 7-year travel at least 3 years ago, where I traveled 7 years before 3. So 11
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a while and I enjoyed every moment until I got to the point where I was like, okay, now I need to like nest again and have a home base, and still like traveling a few times a month at least anyway. This last year of universal pause, really, because we had a loss in the family, my daughter even said, Mom, this year we needed to have the world shut down, to have us kind of slow down more than we ever wanted to and just take a moment. But we're kind of ready to go. So that's great. Yes, that's beautiful. And how do people connect with you or sign up for these trips, learn more about all you're doing?
Well, they can go to the website, www.beyondthenest.org. So it's beyondthenest.org, all one word. We're on all the social media. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. So what else are we on, Vanessa?
So our Instagram is at @beyond_nest, and our Facebook is at Go Beyond the Nest. So you can contact us on both of those. You can also, on any page of our website, which is beyondthenest.org, there is an opportunity to sign up for a conversation with us. So we would encourage anyone, please take that opportunity. Sign up for a conversation. We'd love to further delve into what it is that we're offering and see if it's going to be right for some people. We're thrilled about it. So go ahead and get in touch with us that way. Yeah. Website, social media, all the goods.
Looking forward to it. All right. Well, we're packing our bags. So, all right. Thank you again, Mary and Vanessa. And we will be back after these messages.
Bye.
Bye. If you are just tuning in, this is Sheila Mack, host of NBC's Sheila Mack Show. And today we had an incredible discussion about how to work and travel beyond the nest, here with Vanessa and Mary, who have started Beyond the Nest, a incredible travel program to help us all connect as we work remotely and travel the world together. So if you would like to connect and learn more about their retreats and incredible events, connect with them at www.beyondthenest.org. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. And I have news for you. We are going global with the Sheila Mack Show, so we will be reaching people on just about every continent on the planet. So that is some new expansion news, and you can continue listening to me by also going to my YouTube channel and subscribing, and that is on YouTube at Sheila Mack Show. And also you can find the show now on all major podcasting channels. So today we had a beautiful discussion from Beyond the Nest travel, and that is something that is so important in your business, in your personal life, in your career, now that we are finally able to travel again, and you may be not wanting to travel right now, or maybe you can't wait to get back to traveling. And I think that one of the things that was really hard for me, and I confess this was the mistake that I hope nobody makes listening in, and that I made, was for many years I worked running my gift stores, my businesses. I had 5 gift stores that were all 3 to 5,000 square feet, and I was also helping other store owners. So I was consulting, helping other store owners to do what I did, which was to buy the buildings, to create business credit to buy the buildings, and then to start investing in other properties to create passive income so that they had an exit strategy. And that was really a fun thing. I enjoyed it all. I loved running my stores because they were heart-based. I worked with the community. I had lots of programs and events, and coming from my background, growing up as this young kid who was homeless, and then in and out of foster care when I found foster care, and finally emancipating, going to college at age 15 and going out on my own, I wanted to give back. So a big part of just about everything I do is in contribution. And so it's really important to me, and it was one of my passions, was to make sure that I helped create this open source learning program for the young adults that were emancipating from foster care, and nobody would hire them. They had the hardest time finding jobs. And so I did work with a program, a government-run program called Job Training Partnership Act at the time, and I created an open source training program for these young adults, and they learned every aspect of running a gift store. And the biggest mistake I made was I did not give myself the gift of time to travel more while I was operating the store. And so if you're a smaller business owner, if you're starting a business now to like create this passive income and lifestyle, make sure to put the foundation, or to start, even if you're in the middle of running a business for many years, there's no time like now. Yesterday was better, but now is the best time to go ahead and do some non-negotiables. You know, so many trips a year, so many vacations a year. Are you taking care of your wellness, your self-care? How are you spending time with family and friends? When is your time off? And when you build those big blocks, those big rocks into your life, into your business plan, because your business is a huge part of your life. And if you're running a career, if you're not in a business but you have a career, that's also something to really think about. And so I just find that travel is so important, and an incredible way to learn. While, you know, if you have young children, or even as an adult, I learned so much traveling the world. And that is something that I finally did because through my real estate and guiding other people, lots of consulting with other businesses, helping them out, I was able to, at a certain point, no longer have the retail stores, and sell those out. And then I was able to go ahead and rent the buildings out and create enough passive income to go ahead. And first I became a certified teacher and got another degree. And then I took my children out of school when they were teenagers, before COVID, yes. And I did a little bit of an independent study homeschool. I was a certified teacher, and I traveled the world with my children, and we had some of the best mentors and teachers on the planet. And we attended many incredible training events. My children, young teens, and I
We attended many Tony Robbins events, Dr. Wayne Dyer when he was with us, Donnie Epstein, energetic chiropractor, so many. We went to India to Oneness Ecom Academy there, learning spirituality and meditation. We went to Dubai, all over the world, and those times for the family were priceless. And that education was incredible for my young adult children, to learn directly from the masters, to learn about cultures and different parts of the world by actually getting to know the real people there, face to face, and learning their traditions and how they do school and work, and what types of foods they eat. I mean, there's so much of a rich education in travel. So part of creating that plan. So that was a little bit about how I created a business that ended up fueling and paying for my traveling and learning with some of the most incredible people on the planet, and bringing my then adult, almost adult teens with me. So, as one of my favorite mentors says, it's in the moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. And so my destiny was shaped years ago when I left that job, that corporate style job as a programmer in the engineering department at JPL at 23 years young, to start my first business. And that brought me all around the world. So one of my favorite things to do is I guide entrepreneurs, business owners, and working professionals through the profitable action steps to build a business from creation to expansion, to market your product or service from planning to implementation, and to create passive income from wealth preservation to implementation, while you get back to the business of living your best life. So if you want to learn more about that, we have our new website coming on, and that will be up in a few days. So go to www.sheila, SHEILA, mac.com. That's SheilaMac.com. There you will find show recordings, free gifts, a step-by-step guide on starting your business, and ways for you to, again, get back to the business of enjoying your best life. And if you are tuning in right here on NBC's KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind, this is my second year end, and I have really enjoyed being here and sharing with you, and I do invite you to continue listening. As I announced, we will be going global with the show, and we will also have this show to continue to be available on all major podcasting channels. You can also find the recordings at SheilaMac.com, as well as on YouTube on Sheila Mac Show. All right. Stay tuned.
Necessitated. You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources, and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you. Out of the fog. If you weren't emotionally bound up in your situation, you would have more clarity. You would be able to see your best options for dealing with whatever comes up. If the version of yourself who has already walked through this rock bottom and come out the other end could go back in time and give you, the you right now, some advice, what would she say? Would she tell you to slow down, to stop rushing, that you don't have to have all the answers today? Would the future you recommend not making any major decisions without reviewing them first, particularly while you're still in the fog? Would she tell you that normal is going to look different for a while, but that you will feel normal again? In case we haven't invented time travel by the time you read this book, I'm here to tell you all of the above. I developed the Boots formula to help you learn to make choices, have a life shift, and make great things happen based on your individual values and best life vision. A change is going to happen, and it's worth it. There's a stage where it feels like everyone in your life is picking at you. Life itself may seem like it's trying its best to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. All you hear is, "That's a stupid idea," and "That's never going to work," and "Who do you think you are?" One of the hardest things for people to do is to realign and possibly walk away from anything and anyone that conflicts with their value systems. But you are going to discover that power within yourself. Through the activities and examples in this book, you will discover your true north and will be able to easily do what is needed to move forward with your life. Anything that hurts you, that doesn't resonate for you, that fights against what you want and believe in, you are going to give it the boot. Once you have turned your rock bottom moment into a positive, beautiful life shift, you can live your life on your terms. Your life will probably look different, but you get to design it this time. You are taking your life back, and you are in charge, not anybody else. Sooner than you can imagine, you'll be in the career of your dreams or the relationship you always wanted. Because you are going to learn to develop healthy boundaries. Because you are going to do things differently along the way from here to there. You will begin to attract the people, the job, the place to live, all of the opportunities that align with who you are, your essence, your truth, not anybody else's or even society's expectations of the way you're supposed to be. Once you have accepted that you are in charge of living your life and you begin to embody living your truth, people are going to see you. They're going to be inspired by you. Then you're going to hear, "Hey, can you show me how you did that? I want to do it too." When you assess your peer group and up-level according to your life purpose and vision, and once you have created a life shift for yourself, whatever that looks like, your life is not just full, it's fulfilled. Not only do you get more and better sleep, you wake up feeling rested and happy. You know that you're doing what you need to do. Yes, sometimes your heart will call you to leave certain friends or family members in order to find a more aligned peer group. From what I've seen, however, the ones who leave always return to lead their family and friends to success. Because your friends are more in alignment with your beliefs and value system, they support you while also pushing you toward your personal best. Life still involves work, but as a whole, it feels far more effortless. But you don't have to wait for the right person, right job, or right investment opportunity to show up. You can start living now so that every moment as you go forward through the process of recovering from rock bottom and redesigning your life is one more step to being the best version of you, the one who came.
All right, if you are looking to reinvent life on your terms, if you are grieving, experiencing financial turmoil, career shifts, relationship problems, parenting, elder care, victims of abuse, breaking free from an addiction, or seeking an overall business and lifestyle redesign, then you may need a reboot. It is not fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. You are tuning in to the Sheila Mack Show, where we answer real questions with real solutions to help you reboot your business and personal life. Now, I have reminded you about my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And the core of that book is lifestyle design. So it's going through chapters of different things that happen in everybody's life to one extent or another. We talk about starting over, rebooting, get on back on track after losing a loved one, a divorce. Our kids grow up. We are parenting our parents and more. Relationships, ups and downs, renegotiating relationships, business, career. And every time you have a life shift, you have the opportunity to redesign your life. And so the main focus is every chapter will help you reboot through where you are. You go to the chapter that speaks to you during this time in your life, and then you go to the main focus of the book, which is lifestyle design and getting back on track. But this time, the difference is you get to live life on your terms. All right, so to learn more, go to SheilaMac.com. My name is spelt SheilaMac.com. And there I also have a free gift for you. Looking forward to seeing you there. And as always, I wish you life, love, laughter, and light.